Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our This Is Us Season 5 finale review.
I know we're here, guys. We are here.
You know, I have a lot of prevailing emotions after this finale. Obviously, like sadness, devastation, shock. But my biggest one is just anger. Not with the episode, but with rather like, how are you guys going to tie this up in one more season? Because I feel like this finale set up at least 3 more seasons worth of content.
Yeah, I agree. We got a little bit of a flash forward. We'll call it like a medium flash forward. It's like 4 or 5 years in the future here. So there's a lot of information in that time.
There's so much to break down. We'll talk about everything with the wedding and all the stuff in the present. But, be forewarned. We looked at this flash forward with a fine-tooth comb. We got on our detective hats,
We've been looking for wedding rings. We were looking for everything.
We're going to take you through everything that we have spotted, everything we've thought about. But before we do, why not hit that subscribe button? Because, we are getting very, very close to that 50,000 milestone.
We are really close. We are maybe 1,200 subs away. It is really, really close, and it is a really big milestone. So if you guys want to help us out, hit that subscribe button.
For sure. We've got all sorts of great shows coming up over the coming weeks and months. And, while you're here, why not hit up our Instagram, which is
Matt and Jess TV. We've got, some cool pictures from around the new house. Of course, our pets. See, we saw a gecko in the backyard. Yep. There's that up there. His name is Mr. Gecko after Mr. Echo from Lost, because I am a huge Lost fan.
How can we not be a Lost fan? We make our own kind of music around here.
Oh.
And all right.
Okay, listen. Before we get into all our crazy theories about that last 2 minutes, we're going to talk about the episode first. Because I know we want to jump into that, and we will, but I feel like it's going to turn into this really deep spiral of theories. So first, the episode.
Okay.
Was anybody surprised that they ended up not getting married? I don't think there's a lot of people out there. And really?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm surprised.
Okay. I am not surprised after what we just saw in the last episode where Madison was starting to have, I guess, a bit of reservation about this whole thing. She comes from a really broken home, and we saw in this episode too that after her mom left, her dad is not... He's not great. No. He's just really good at tearing her down. Oh, just be happy with whatever you get. You're basically worth whatever scraps of love or any affection anyone wants to give you. So just take what you get because you're not really worth more than that. That could be more of the father's projection on stuff. We don't know why the mother left. She was just like, and I'm out of here, and here's some earrings to wear on your wedding day, maybe in the future. It was all awful.
Yeah. All of that was terrible. And yet, even with these flashbacks, I was still sitting here thinking, okay, here's where this is going to go. She's going to go to Kevin at some point, explain some of how she's feeling. He's going to be like, Madison, I understand. I have not made my feelings very clear, but while I was on the bachelor party, I had a realization. I had my Jerry 2.0 moment. Madison, I love you. I'm ready for it. I genuinely thought that was going to happen. They were going to get married. I don't know if I thought maybe there was a flash forward where they wouldn't be together or something, but I thought the wedding was going to happen. They bought me hook, line, and sinker.
I wanted it to happen. You guys know we're fans of this couple.
Yeah.
We really like their relationship. And even when Madison was saying, I can't marry you if you don't love me, and he was going through that crazy panic, he said everything that I've been feeling about it, where he's kind of like, listen, I know we don't have a conventional relationship. It didn't start in the most romantic of ways, but that doesn't mean that I won't get there. And that's the truth of it. She got there. She's like, listen, I got there. I'm in love with you. Okay, Madison, that took you some time. You did take time to get there. You have to give Kevin the same time. And I don't think he was going to lie to her and just say, give me time. I will get there, which is exactly what he said. If he was really, Madison, I'm never going to get there and you'll be okay, but you won't be good enough. I don't actually think that's what he feels. And I know there are some out there that will disagree with me, and that is fine. You can let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
But I do believe him when he said that he was going to get there. He's been growing in that direction this whole time.
I believe him fully. I also believe Madison was like, as much as I was surprised by this, I understand fully both sides of where the two of them were coming from. Like, Kevin clearly felt like he had enough love in him and he was building something that he was willing, to marry her right now. Like, I don't think he would have done this unless he felt like he really surely could get there. I mean, otherwise it would be a really irresponsible move on his part.
Really, the irresponsible move was on both of their parts to not have this conversation before deciding to get married.
Yeah.
And I know it took Madison a little while to get to this part where she feels that she is worth love, real love, and that's fine. But then she could have said, okay, let's not get married right now. Let's keep growing. Let's see where it goes. And then if it doesn't get there, that's okay. I can move on. But if it does get there, cool. Then we'll do this.
I just think this was something because they didn't have those conversations. I was probably a little bit naive in thinking they could get past it in a short period of time. But that's not how life works to some degree. And I will say, Kevin, he held on to, he was able to react to this better than I sort of thought he would.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sing the song so we don't get demonetized, but love is not always on time. Sometimes it takes a little while for it to evolve. Not everything is as you meet somebody and, it's butterflies and fireworks and you're in love. Miguel is right. Sometimes things take time.
I love Miguel in this episode. Like, if we're going through just my favorite moments leading up to the wedding,
Miguel and Nicky
almost having a straight up fist fight has to be pretty much on there with Nicky. With Miguel being like, "I've worked in construction for decades," and Nicky is the guy who watches one YouTube video and is like, I got this. I know how to build this. I know how to figure it out.
Their relationship has turned into something that I really enjoy.
Once again, Nicky is firing on all cylinders in this episode. Nicky being the videographer that Kevin does not want. Yep. Kevin eventually telling Nicky to just go away for the majority of the day.
Yep, it was really good. Nicky had a lot of good stuff. His gift was, again, very thoughtful. We already know that Nicky is a very thoughtful gift giver. So those sort of, here's these 2 chairs and you're going to be able to sit in them when you're old and gray and watch the world go by. I thought that was really nice. Very romantic. Nicky, very romantic.
Nicky's got a romantic heart. It's just I love those chairs so much. I love every angle of the Randall side story. I mean, we'll get to the part with him and Rebecca, but I just love the scene of Randall just wandering around the venue, muttering to himself.
I liked Randall walking around with an umbrella over Kevin's head to make sure he didn't get sunburned. He's such the best man.
Randall is Randall. I want Randall to be my friend. I'm just gonna say it. I relate to him just meandering around, just talking to himself because I do that.
It's the truth.
It's he's just so very endearing to me. And
he is.
The Randall and Rebecca storyline was it was something that needed to happen. I also understood Randall not wanting it to happen the way that she wanted it to happen in that moment.
Yeah, and the timing could have been better, but Rebecca knows that her memory is going, and like she said, she straight up said, you are always letting me off the hook on this. I don't want to be let off the hook on this while I remember stuff. This needs to happen, not only for me, but also for him, that everybody can move forward. She's felt this guilt, shame, that she's kept this family away from Randall all this time, and she wants to atone for it. And it was good that they were able to have that talk. But this was a real weird episode for it. I feel like this would have been good for next season or earlier this season. At the wedding, guys, this is Kevin's wedding. These conversations do not need to be happening here.
it was very, very risky. Like, I will say that. Because if something had gone awry in that conversation, then, we've all heard about these weddings where, something is happening alongside the wedding and it threatens to sort of derail everything.
Of course. Weddings, everyone's getting together and it brings up all these feelings, and I understand all that, but you could have waited. You could have even waited till the reception if there was going to be one. Yeah. Oh, no.
They have all this food that nobody is eating. Can I volunteer to eat all of the wedding food? I will put it in the freezer.
The one thing I will say for all the people who are out there, fans of Sophie or Kevin with someone else, I was surprised to see that after Kevin and Madison had that conversation, that he took this as well as he did. It seemed very much like he was defeated, that he was just kind of like, what can I do? Like, she's made this decision. Yeah. She's the mother of my children. I love the family. I love the unit. I love what we have. But, all of this other love I have just isn't enough.
I think it was a response that shows Kevin's growth too, because I think Kevin, like 10 years ago, he probably would have pitched a fit over something like this.
Yeah, and we even saw the family being concerned. Are you gonna start drinking again? We are worried about this, and no, he's not.
Can we talk about one more amends moment that happened here that I think a lot of people needed, which was Tess and Beth, because we've seen your comments on this. Nobody's been happy with Tess for like 2 months.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been tough for Tess. And she's, it's been a difficult storyline to go through and a difficult relationship to go through, difficult with the family to go through, and Tess has been sort of isolating herself a lot in this situation. She even said that by the end of the episode, where she's just like, I haven't been that nice to you, and Beth's like, I've been trying my best, but it's not good enough. And it was nice to see Tess be like, no, it is good enough. I'm just in my own head with stuff, and you've been the person that I'm taking it out on. They needed to sort of get over that, because I've been worried that the future, 10 years in the future, when Tess is walking with Randall and he's like, have you called your mom yet? And she was kind of like, no. I was like, oh man, are they not talking? Or is this because Rebecca's on her deathbed and, Tess is worried? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I hope it's nothing. Like, I hope there's a lot of these teases in the flash forwards that are nothing. But a good transition as we start to make our way there is, let's talk in the present about Kate and Toby for a moment here.
Yeah, this
this is rough.
Yeah, we were worried in the last video that they were headed towards divorce, and they are. So that's what's happening. But yeah, we were worried about this as soon as Toby said that he was going to take that job without talking to his wife. He's got kids. Yes, they're little kids and they can move, but you do need to talk to your partner about it before you're like, hey, I'm not going to see you half the week. Hope you're okay with this.
Yeah, like it wasn't like a scream out fight or anything in the present, but it was, I think, a very big building block to what is coming, that Toby did all this without telling her, without communicating, makes the assumption that she is going to leave her job. Like, all of these, you got to communicate with your partner, and it seems like he hasn't been either interested in doing that or not capable of doing that at this time.
Yeah, for whatever reason, she's not been able to communicate her happiness in her job, and he's not able to communicate how unhappy he is until this episode where he said, I love our kids, but she's right. That is a lot to digest. So for her to make... she initially made the decision, okay, I'm gonna resign. The other music teacher's like, I do not accept, and hung up on her. That it's just, when she got sort of to where they are, she accepted that he's going to be gone for 3 days and she will be still back here for 3 days. And that acceptance, when you're at that in your marriage, either you're very confident in your marriage to be able to be apart that much, because there's no end date. It's just for as long as you have this job. You could be at it for a day, you could be at it for 20 years. That's a big ask. So either you're very confident in your marriage, or you got some questions. And after saying, I love her kids, but I feel like Kate has some questions.
She has some big questions. I think she's going to have a lot to think about. And now we know 5 years from now.
All right, we're hitting the curve.
Let's do it,
Buckle
people.
up.
All right, 5 years
from now.
Here we go. Okay. I think this guy's name is Philip, but you know what? I'm going to call him Music Man, just like I'm going to call Dr. Horse, and Dr. Horse still 1 year removed,
MIA.
has still just vanished off the face of the earth. But, okay, Music Man, apparently, he's there. Kate's getting married. It seems like this is her thing. So clearly Music Man becomes a lot more friendly beyond just being a total, like, sourpuss that when we first met him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when we first met him and he was a jerk, I didn't like him. I'm sure nobody did. But this last conversation where he told her, listen, when I first met you, I felt like I got stuck with you, but now you are valuable, you are important, the work you're doing is important, students like you, I like you, I will not accept your resignation, goodbye. I was kind of like, that's a really strong stance for him to take, to make it so that Kate feels that, to the point that he's not willing to accept her resignation because she's just that good. That felt like what she really needed at a time that Toby is not putting into her. He's very stuck on what's happening to him. Now he's made this other move that he's going to move away, and I love my kids, but it's all kind of fallen apart. My worry is that they're going to put Kate in a position where she has an affair. And I mean, I don't want to see it go into that direction. She's one of the only important female characters, of the big three. She's the only female. So to have her be the person that's taken a side piece, I don't want to see it happen. And we've already seen the affair storyline where Kevin and Sophie had problems in their marriage. It just doesn't need to happen.
No, I hope it's more of a, over a couple of years, Kate and Toby don't work, then she has some time to sort of digest everything, then she moves into this. Clearly, this guy, they have some shared interests. They're both clearly into music. He's very much into empowering her. We saw that with the phone call.
And he's very honest with her, and I think with what's going on with Toby right now, their relationship has not really been that honest all season long. They've both been kind of having to either hide their feelings or not share anything. So to get that kind of honesty, even if it's brutal, is welcomed when you're in a situation where you are just not being told everything.
Yeah, and I mean, Music Man's clearly been around long enough now to appeal himself to the other Pearsons, because Kevin seems gung-ho about getting this speech right.
He's called him his brother-in-law, so we know that she is divorced and she is marrying this guy. So within these 5 years, because Kevin says he's 45 at this point, she is going to divorce Toby. It's not even a separation.
No.
It is full blown. It is over. She's in a wedding dress. She said, this is the last time I'm going to do this, which made me think, is it?
Yeah, which makes me think it's not, but
Is it?
because we'll get there, because we'll sort of talk about this in the chronology, but, Kevin, when he's practicing that speech, and if you zoom in, and this is what I do apparently, that little piece of stationery had Big Three Movers written on it. We know Rebecca wants him to build that house that Jack designed.
Yep. So when Rebecca asked him, can you make Big Three happen? Can you make the, house happen? 5 years later, here we are. Big Three construction.
Yep.
It is happening. So clearly he's got to be either 5 years deep, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, he may have started it right away. His career wasn't doing that well. He wasn't able to really find anything when we last saw him. So maybe he took his money and went straight into this.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to get Manny residuals the rest of his life.
Right.
He doesn't really need to do much more acting. He could just work with Miguel, build some stuff up.
So I zoomed in on everybody's hands, because the last finale was everybody wearing wedding rings. So I was curious, 5 years in, who's married, who's not. So Kevin looks like he is not wearing a wedding ring. If I missed it, you guys, please let me know.
Yeah.
But I watched it a bunch of times. I saw no wedding ring. When he went to go see Kate, and of course, Madison was there. That's her best friend, is one of the bridesmaids. I didn't see a wedding ring on her either. However,
yeah.
their relationship seems like it is very strong, very fun, very flirty, and she dropped something that made me think, like, it's possible that they're just co-parenting. We know that Kevin gets married in the future. Could it be to Madison? I mean, they seem like they're doing really well. She even said, when he was like, oh, what about this for the speech? And she said, I told you 12 times this morning, Kevin. I'm like, ooh, this morning, did you stop by, or are you living with him? Like, I'm not sure.
I think she probably said it while they were making breakfast, while they were eating together. I think they're together. Like, I think that eventually they will get married.
The way that she was touching him and he was accepting of it, it feels like they are together. It is very familiar.
Yeah, so that is my hope for where the two of them are. Now, as for where we are with Randall, I am a man who knows fonts. Like, I study fonts a lot. I don't know why that's maybe a problem, but
Detective Font
was on the case with this magazine article.
Yeah, he really was.
It was saying Rising Star. I have seen that font before, and I believe that font is of a very prestigious New York publication. Now, I could be wrong about it, but it seemed very, very similar. Now, of course, my brain is thinking, okay, why would a New York publication write about Randall, a local Pennsylvania councilman? He's not even, he's like city councilman. Congressman Randall Pearson, because if you're a senator, I think it's hard to be a rising star because you already kind of made it. But I think if he's a congressman, I could see him getting on sort of the front pages of some places, moving through the ranks. Because the time period after this where they're at Rebecca's deathbed, we think that's probably like 5 or so years after where we are with Kate's wedding here.
Yep.
I don't think he's like President Randall or anything at that point. We didn't see any Secret Service around or anything.
No, I think that's probably what is happening. He's moving up in the ranks politically. His career is booming. He's a rising star.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody's that surprised. I mean, Randall puts everything he can into his career, into his family, into whatever he's focused on, it gets all his attention. So
yeah, I that's what I think.
Okay, so the last wedding wedding rings we're going to talk about are Nicky. So we see Nicky at this future wedding 5 years into the future, walking down the hallway with a bag saying, I had to pick up nylons for my wife. So whoever he is married to, so far it's kind of like there's a couple of options. It could be Cassidy, that's been out there. It could be Sally. It could be brand new person.
Yeah.
I don't personally think that it's Rebecca. I never thought that it was actually Rebecca. I always thought that maybe he was wearing that wedding ring as a nicety to Rebecca if she thought that he was Jack. That theory is gone. I am taking an L on that.
Okay.
It is not that.
I still think
he is actually married.
It is still years in the future. I still think it's not. I don't think we can take it completely off the table, but
I think it's okay. It's off. I'm taking an L, folks. It's not happening.
Okay,
he's married to someone.
The likely scenario is that he is with someone. I know that he's trying to look up Sally and all of that.
Yeah.
I actually hope it's not Sally, and that's not because I'm sitting here being like old school love is dead or anything, but I just feel like they have a position here where they could sort of bring someone else into this picture, because it seems like he is so set on this one thing when maybe what he really needs is something that he's not even thinking about. And I think there could be a really interesting story to tell there.
It's like the Rolling Stones song that I also won't sing because I don't want to get demonetized. You don't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. So that might be the case. And my hope is actually also that he doesn't end up with Sally. And it's not, again, because I think like true love is dead or anything, but this show does like to focus in on more real situations. So we have the great loves, and we've seen that with Jack and Rebecca. We've seen that with Beth and Randall. We don't need to see it with every single couple, or then it's just kind of like, what am I watching anymore? This isn't a reality of anything. So what I'm wondering is, will Nicky just get closure from Sally, and then he's able to move on with someone else.
Yeah, I think we need to see Sally. I think that story is important for his future. I hope we meet Sally in season 6, and then we can sort of see where we go from there. Final season. What is up with this? It does sound like it's going to be 18 episodes. I think Mandy Moore said that, so...
Spin off.
Wait, what are we spinning off on? Oh, yeah, we're doing
the kids.
The kids, that's right.
Yes, I think it would be really interesting to have stories about, like, Jack Damon and his music career and everything. I just think there's a lot there with those kids.
Yeah, we barely
Who doesn't want to see Deja in the future? I do.
Sure.
Right?
And, yeah, I know. And there is a lot to be explored there. And we barely know anything about that timeline.
Yeah, because all we know about Deja in the 10 years in the future is that she is pregnant.
Yeah.
At this timeline, at Kevin's wedding, we know that Malik just got accepted to Harvard. So it seems like they might be splitting. Maybe long distance. Maybe Deja will move out there. Who knows?
I believe in you guys. You can make this work. In Boston and Philly, that's not that far apart. Come on. Well, I don't know what the Malik and Deja spin is. Is it Dalik? Whatever.
I just didn't realize, I guess, that he was that much older than her, that he's ready to be going to college. I mean, I knew he was doing internships and stuff like that, but I think it was not that long ago when Beth's mother was in town. I think Randall or Deja or whoever said she was 15.
Yeah,
15 or 16. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't quite realize that he was closer to 17 or 18.
Yeah, there's so much that this show has to explore beyond even our dream spinoff.
Yep.
We will be here to talk through a lot of it, but that is our take on the finale, the flash forwards. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Hopefully, your brain waves are going all over the place like ours are.
Leave us all your theories in the comments, and, let's keep the conversation going.
And if you guys enjoyed this discussion, hit that subscribe button and the like button and support us further. We have links in the description to the store as well as our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.